Hi everyone, thank you for watching this recorded video. Today's tech tutorial is going to be learning how to use TexShare databases through our library. So before we get started, I just wanted to quickly go over what we're going to be covering during this video. So first, we're going to be talking about what exactly is TexShare and what's available within those databases, how to access it from the library website, and then we're going to be exploring 4 specific databases within TexShare. So that will be the LearningExpress Library, Book Connections, also called Teaching Books, Legal Forms, and Academic Search Complete. So if you've never used TexShare, you might be wondering what exactly it offers. So TexShare is basically a consortium of libraries across Texas that share physical and electronic resources. So basically, with your TexShare card, when you sign up, you're able to check out materials from any participating library within the consortium. There's so many libraries across Texas that are part of this program, especially up here in the Metroplex. So if you want to sign up for a physical TexShare card, you just need to visit the library, come up to the front desk, let us know you want to sign up for a card, and we'll get you all set up. But basically with that card, you can go to another participating library, like for example, Dallas Public Library, and check out any items from there. You have to follow the circulation rules that are there at that library that you're trying to check out materials from. So just be aware of that. But it's a great way to have access to more items in the collection, especially things that might be hard to find. The databases, which we're going to be talking about today, are a little different. The databases are something that's free for patrons from any of the participating libraries within TexShare. So this is available to everybody, and you just go to the TexShare website to access. Within the TexShare databases, there's a lot of different resources available. So there's things to help with homework, health or business information, which is great, especially if you're like a small business. There's academic journals, popular magazines, genealogy, career development resources, and even ebooks that you can check out. So if you're wanting to access the TexShare databases, you're basically going to go to our Cedar Hill Library website. We're going to select the education research resources on the left side of the page. Click on the link for TexShare and then use that password below. So I'll walk you through that process right now. All right, so I have brought up my browser here. And so I'm just going to go to our library website. So that's Cedar Hill library.org. And that's going to take us to the main page of the library website. And we're going to click on Education and Research Resources, which is over here on the left side of the page. And then when you get there, you'll notice that there's this nice little blurb about what TexShare is. So you can always check that out. If you're ever wanting to know the password for our TexShare databases, in case you forget, you can always call our library to find out. So we're just going to click that link for TexShare databases, and it should get you in. If it doesn't remember that you're a part of our Zula B. Wiley Public Library, when you get in there, you can just put in the password, which was on that previous slide. All right, so we're going to explore some of the resources that are in here. I just wanted to kind of show you how to navigate within here and understand, what materials are available. So this is the main page of the TexShare databases. It has some tools here to get started. These are just some popular types of databases that are within the resource. You can also choose most popular and it will show that as well. There's a little description about each database so you can get an idea of whether that's something that'll be useful to you. We can also look at it in alphabetical order under this resources A to Z or by subject. And then if you're a Spanish speaker, you can also look at the resources in Spanish as well, which can be really helpful. All right, so what we're going to do first is just go to resources A to Z, and we're going to go through 4 different resources that I find are very useful. They're kind of the ones that are pretty popular, especially in what people ask for at the library. They're good resources for a couple of different things. So the first one we're going to look at is the LearningExpress Library. So I'm just going to go to L, and you'll notice that right up the top. So this is a resource that has all kinds of tutorials, practice tests, and different resources that you can use to improve your academic skills. So this is whether you are, an elementary student, someone in high school trying to practice for STAR, or, an adult trying to take some type of assessment. So we'll go ahead and explore that here. And we've been taken into the homepage for LearningExpress Library. And you can scroll down and you can see all of these different types of subjects that we have resources for. So you can see there's a wide variety of things that you can use this for. So let's say I am looking for something that can kind of help me with the STAR as a high school kid. I can click on high school students. You can see that there's these different resources for different subjects. And even then also this practice for state tests. So I'll click on that one. And there are practice tests that I can take specifically for STAR. So let's say that I'm really having a hard time when it comes to my EOC test for algebra. I can take in some of these different practice tests. And you can see it says sign in or register. To do that, you can register for an account whenever you get in here. All right, so that's an example of one great way that you can use the LearningExpress Library. Often we also get some people coming into the library asking for help with like ACT or SAT or AP tests when they're trying to prepare to go to college. So you can access resources for that here under the college admissions test prep. And you can see there's all these different things that you can practice for here. If you are an adult and you're coming in and wanting to gain some different skills for your career, or let's say that you wanted to get a high school diploma, stuff like that, we have resources for that as well. So you can go to the High School Equivalency Center. That will give you information about how to prepare for the GED. And then there's also the Career Center Plus. So this area here I really like because it has different tests that you might be looking for. So I know a lot of people come in wanting to practice for different things, like let's say like a real estate exam, or they're trying to do something for nursing. There's different types of assessments here that they can take to practice for that. So let's say they're wanting to become a nurse. You have all of these different types of assessments that you have ebooks for, exams, flashcards, all of that. So it's a really great resource just to check out. All right, so that was everything I wanted to show you for the LearningExpress Library. I definitely recommend checking it out. There are so many great resources here. If you are an educator or you're a homeschool parent, there are so many resources in here that can be useful when you're helping your student. All right, so the next one I wanted to show is also another resource that is more geared towards children, and then also for homeschool parents or parents in general or teachers, and that is Book Connection. So we're going to go back here to the resources A to Z, click on that B, and go to Book Connections. It's also called Teaching Books if you're familiar with the name. All right, so Book Connections is a really wonderful resource that really brings books alive because they have different things that allow kids to interact with those books. So they are able to learn more about the author or the illustrator behind the book, or there's book readings and book trailers that make it much more, animated and exciting as they're learning about the book. So if you're doing like a book report, or let's say you're a homeschool parent and you're reading this book together and you want to get your child more excited or explore some of those topics a little deeper, this is a great resource to use. So in here, you're going to notice that there are some different categories up at the top. So there's for fun, for readers. This is geared for children. For professionals, that's going to be your teachers, and then you can just browse. So we're just going to go ahead and go to for fun, and then you'll see that there's some different categories here about different things that you can explore within Book Connection. So there's book readings where we can look for a specific title. So let's see, maybe we'll just do that. We'll open up something. All right, so I just looked for, in general, just kids' books. You can always filter this down to something specific. So if you know like your kid is in a specific grade level, like let's say they're a third grader, we can filter that down. If you wanted to have this in a specific subject, you can do that. You can even filter down into the different types of resources that you're looking for as well. So right now we have this large selection of books that we can look at. So I found something that I want to look at. So that's going to be this book, The Undefeated by Kwame Alexander. And once I click on it, it's going to let me see there are two book readings that I can look at if I wanted to hear the book read out loud to me. There are some book trailers available here if I wanted to watch it. All right, so those are just some of the resources highlighted. You can also see up at the top, there's some more resources that are listed here. So if you're wanting to learn more about the author, you can view this information here. And then there are even author interviews that you can look at too. So really neat. It just kind of brings together all of the different resources on the web together, so you don't have to do a lot of searching yourself. I really love this specific area where they have the book guides and lessons all together in one section. These are created by, not just the Book Connections Teaching Books team, but it's also created by other great education resources as well. So they're kind of gathering all of it together, and you can use this whether you're planning like a discussion in class, or if you're going to read this book with your child, you can use some of the questions or lessons or ideas from here. So it's a really great resource. Over here on the left, there are some different things that you can do with your kids. There's a little word search as well as a little jigsaw for the book cover as well. All right, so I'm going to click on For Readers, and you'll notice that there are some resources just for kids in here. So Bookfinder helps them find another book to read that fits with something they might already like. So it kind of helps them discover more subjects or things that they might be interested in. The homework help here, this will give you resources based on what you're looking for. If you're trying to find something for like a book report, like let's say you're reading, Brown Girl Dreaming in class, you want to find some more resources for that, you can search here. You can look at different vocabulary lists or things like that too. The other thing I wanted to look at here is the homeschool support. This is also under the professional side as well. But this is a great place to start with if you're a homeschool parent, because you'll be able to find all kinds of different resources within Book Connections that might fit with the curriculum that you're planning with your kids. All right, let me go to the For Professionals, because I do want to show that for you guys. If you are needing some list, let's say to recommend to your students as a teacher, or you're planning some summer reading programs at your school, or just trying to figure out something as a parent for homeschooling, this is going to be a great resource here for you guys. So I would recommend just, checking it out and seeing what you can find in there. So that is basically what you'll find here with Book Connections. It's really neat. I recommend, taking a look at it, especially like listening to some of the interviews or some of the book readings that are in there, because they're really good. We can't explore it too in depth just because we have some other databases to look at here, but definitely if that fits what you're needing, this is a great resource to use. So the third database that we were going to look at is legal forms. So oftentimes in the library, we get people coming in trying to make copies or trying to find different types of forms on the internet that they can print out. And a lot of the time, those forms kind of cost money when you're trying to search for it online. So legal forms is something that you can get free legal papers for all types of different topics there. And actually, I just went too fast. So let me go back to there. We just pushed on L, and then we're going to go to legal forms. And this is going to take you to the legal forms website or the database. And you'll see that it already knows, that we're in Texas. So it's pulling up just forms that apply with our state. So this is a great resource if you're trying to print out different things, like let's say like a contract, or, you're a landlord and you're needing to do stuff with your tenants. forms for that, or like, let's say you need to do power of attorney, or you have some real estate business. These are going to help you find some free resources that you can just print out the documents or fill out from there. So oftentimes, if you're trying to find this on the internet, they might be the wrong type of form, or it might be you had to pay a certain fee for that. So this is a great way to know that, first off, you're getting the right type of form and that it is all free. So in here, you can search for the form that you're looking for. You can always browse by the alphabet. It also has it labeled in the different categories. And then the most popular categories are over here on the left. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some different ones that often come up when people are coming into the library and asking. So first off would be if you're like a landlord, you can click on landlord tenant. And this is going to show you all the different kinds of forms that we have in Texas that you could print off from here. So let's say that you are a landlord for like a home that you're renting or something like that. You can print out some of these like rental agreement forms, all kinds of documents are in here. So I'm just going to click on some just so that you can get an idea of kind of the process of getting this printed out. It gives me a description of what that document is. You can even see a preview to make sure, okay, this looks like the right thing that I need. It's always going to have a control number. So oftentimes you might have that information with you if you know that there's a specific kind of form that you're supposed to be filling out. And then under download, you have the different types of options for how you can get that document. So oftentimes you'll see it either in Word or it'll be like a PDF document. So I'm going to open it up in Word. You'll see it downloaded straight in my computer. And I'm going to open it up. There is my document. And it's all nice. I can fill it out from here. And there's nothing in here like some weird headers or like watermarks, like if I had printed this from the internet randomly. One other area here in legal forms is over here on the left. They have some other resources, not just the forms, but just in general. If you're needing some additional information, let's say like there are some terms and some contracts that you're not sure about, you can always look that up through the legal definitions. So you can see there's all kinds of terms here. You can see there's tax forms that are available. You print that out. There's a legal Q&A, which may be really helpful if you're not really sure what to do for certain instances. And then there's also these articles and helpful topics here. So if you are ever needing to print out a certain type of legal document, this is a great resource for you. All right, so let's go into our fourth and last resource that I wanted to highlight. And that's going to be Academic Search Complete. So that's over here in the A's, and you'll see this one here. So Academic Search Complete is a really great resource if you're trying to find like an academic journal type of resource. So let's say, for example, you're a college student and you have like a big assignment or a paper or project that you need to do. This is going to be a great resource for you to use. So I use this a lot in college and then also in graduate school to find different types of journal articles whenever I had to do different types of assignments. Once you click on here, it'll take you to the main website, and there's this huge search button. You can type in whatever your search key terms are there, and then you can always filter that down a bit to make it a bit more of an advanced search based on like what you're trying to look for. So let's say that I am, a student and I'm trying to do a research project on like the opioid epidemic. So I can type that in as a search term and like filter that some more. So you can see I got a lot of results here. But if I'm looking for something specific, I can filter that here. So oftentimes, if you're like a college student, you probably need to find like the full text document so you can read whatever article that is, right? So you can limit that here to just the full text material. You can filter it to, a specific type of resource. Like let's say I only want to look at academic journals. And then I could even change information about when was this published, like the publication date. I can look at specific publishers or specific subjects that it comes in. So I'm just going to click on one of these just to show you kind of what it pulls up. Okay, so we are going to go look at this article here. And so you can see if I just click on it, it's going to pull up more information about what this article is about. You can read the abstract to get an idea. This is like a summary of what that journal article is about. And so if this looks like something that fits with what I'm looking for as far as like my research project or whatnot, I can then click on PDF full text, and that will let me, be able to download or print this document from here. So really great. A lot of the time, this kind of resource is only available when you're like having access to like a college, like a college library or something like that. So this is a great resource that you're able to use regardless of whether you have access to that or not. So just through the library, you can do this. All right, and then on the right, there are some extra resources here. So let's say, for example, that I need to cite this in a bibliography for my project. I can click cite. And it'll show me all the different types of ways that I can cite it. You can find which one you need to do. Always double check this though, because this is like an automatic one. So you might need to like correct some of the capitalization or the way that they do the punctuation. So don't just copy and paste this part. All right, and then there's also resources here to save the document or print it or even add it to your Google Drive. So really handy to use, especially if you are doing a research project. This is a great resource for you. All right, so those are the 4 databases that I wanted to highlight today. I encourage you though to just take a look here because there's all kinds of databases in here and they cover all kinds of things. All right, so that was everything I wanted to share with you. I do want to share some helpful resources before we end, and that's the TexShare website here, as well as the website to find any participating libraries that are using TexShare. So I'll leave that here. It'll be in the description box for the video. So make sure to check those out. Thank you again for watching this recorded video, and be on the lookout for more tech tutorials and other resources from our library. Thanks again.